What if I told you that 24 million Americans are currently living with nerve damage, and most of them don't realize that one simple ingredient in their kitchen may help support nerve repair? I'm talking about lemons. And surprisingly, this has very little to do with vitamin C. What I want to discuss today goes much deeper than that. It involves compounds inside lemons that researchers believe may help regenerate damaged nerve cells. I'm Dr. Barbara O'Neill, and today we're taking a closer look at lemons in a way you probably haven't heard before. This isn't just another basic health discussion. We're going to explore the nerve protective properties hidden inside these bright yellow fruits, and I believe some of the information you're about to hear may catch you off guard. Now, you may be thinking, lemons? Seriously? But stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll understand why lemons may deserve a regular place in your diet, especially if you struggle with neuropathy, nerve discomfort, or if you simply want to support your nervous system as you get older. First, we'll go through the common health benefits people already know about. Then we'll look at the research surrounding lemons and nerve protection. After that, I'll share a few simple recipes you can make at home to get the greatest benefit. Believe me, your nervous system will appreciate it. Let me begin with a patient of mine named Patricia, who came to see me around 3 years ago. She was 68 and had been dealing with peripheral neuropathy for almost 5 years. She talked about constant burning in her feet, numbness that made it hard to walk, and sharp pains that woke her during the night. Several doctors had already told her the damage was permanent and that pain medication was the only real option left. Patricia felt defeated, and she had nearly lost hope that things could get better. Now, when most people talk about lemons, they immediately focus on vitamin C, and yes, lemons do contain it. But here's something many people don't realize. If vitamin C was my only goal, lemons actually wouldn't be my top pick. One average lemon contains roughly 31 milligrams of vitamin C. An orange gives you about 51 milligrams, and even oranges aren't the strongest source available. One green kiwi contains around 64 milligrams of vitamin C. A single cup of cooked broccoli provides close to 100 milligrams. A medium red bell pepper gives you approximately 152 milligrams. But the biggest standout is the golden kiwi, which contains about 161 milligrams of vitamin C in one fruit alone. So, if your only goal is increasing vitamin C intake, golden kiwis are actually one of the best choices, and I often see them available in stores like Costco. But here's the important part. The reason I recommend lemons so often to patients over 60, especially those struggling with nerve problems, has very little to do with vitamin C itself. Lemons contain compounds that are much more interesting when it comes to nerve health. And this is where things become fascinating. In addition to vitamin C, lemons also provide potassium and vitamin B6. They contain pectin, which is a soluble fiber that supports heart health by helping reduce cholesterol levels and improving gut health. They're also packed with antioxidants that research has linked to nerve protection, cardiovascular support, and a lower cancer risk. But the most interesting part of lemons comes from a group of compounds known as flavonoids. These are the compounds that act as nerve protectors, yet most people have never heard of them. I still remember when I first began paying close attention to these compounds. I was reading studies about natural ways to support people with peripheral neuropathy, and I kept seeing research connected to lemon flavonoids and nerve regeneration. To be honest, I doubted it at first, but the studies were convincing, and they came from respected scientific sources. So I began recommending lemons to some of my patients dealing with nerve issues, including Patricia. The first compound I want to mention is called D-limonene, often shortened to limonene. This is the compound responsible for the fresh scent of lemons. Studies show that limonene may help reduce stress while also offering antifungal and antibacterial effects. It may also support mood and energy levels. But what interested me most as someone focused on nerve health in older adults was something else entirely. Research suggests limonene can reduce inflammatory activity in the body, especially inflammation linked to nerve tissue. It also appears to support the regeneration of both sensory and motor peripheral nerves. What's even more interesting is that limonene has been shown to increase what scientists describe as the neurotrophic activity of nerves. Let me explain that in simpler language, because it matters a great deal. It means limonene may help the body produce new healthy nerve cells to replace damaged ones. And there's an important difference between nerve repair and nerve regeneration. Repair means patching damage, similar to covering a wound with a bandage. Regeneration means damaged tissue is removed and replaced with new healthy nerve cells. That's not simply managing a problem. It means helping the body build new nerve tissue. That's an incredible process. Now, limonene is found mostly in the peel of lemons, and it's also the main ingredient in lemon essential oil. Orange peels contain limonene too, but lemons contain it in much higher amounts. That's why I'll later share recipes that use the whole lemon, including the peel, so you can get the greatest amount of this compound. Another strong compound found in lemons is hesperidin. You may also hear the name hesperetin. There is a small molecular difference between the two, but in many research papers the names are often used interchangeably. So don't let the wording confuse you. These flavonoids have been shown in studies to protect neurons from something called cytotoxicity, which basically means toxic injury to nerve cells. What makes this so interesting is that nerve cell toxicity can come from many different sources. It can happen because of oxidative stress and free radical damage. It can also happen because of inflammatory reactions caused by pathogens such as viruses, bacteria, fungi, and parasites. On top of that, toxic chemicals and compounds we come into contact with every day can damage the nervous system. Even radiation exposure can play a role. You may hear the word radiation and think it doesn't apply to you. But the truth is that small amounts of radiation can be found in parts of the food supply and drinking water. Many electronic devices around the home also release varying levels of radiation. Your cell phone is one example, but that's a separate discussion for another time. The important thing to understand is that hesperidin helps protect nerve tissue against many of these neurotoxic substances. That includes compounds such as MSG. And the reality is that most people encounter neurotoxins every single day. A large number of medications contain substances that can affect the nervous system. Heavy metals like mercury and lead are another source of exposure. Certain foods and food additives also contain compounds that may harm nerves. Pesticides are another major concern. We come into contact with them through food and through products used around the home for pest control. Many cleaning products and cosmetics contain neurotoxic ingredients as well. When you look at all these daily exposures, it becomes easier to understand why nearly 24 million people in the United States are living with peripheral neuropathy. And that number keeps increasing year after year. This is one reason I care so deeply about teaching patients how to support and protect their nervous systems naturally. But hesperidin does more than shield nerve cells from damage. Research also shows that it supports neuron survival and may encourage new growth in both peripheral nerves and the central nervous system, which includes the brain and spinal cord. One thing I especially like about this compound is that studies suggest it may improve mitochondrial dysfunction, something commonly seen in more serious cases of peripheral neuropathy. Mitochondria are basically the energy producers inside your cells. When they stop functioning properly, nerves struggle to get the energy needed for normal function and repair. And these plant compounds offer more than nerve support alone. They also act as strong antioxidants that help strengthen blood vessels and reduce atherosclerosis, which is the buildup of plaque inside arteries. This matters a lot for older patients because heart health and nerve health are closely connected. Now let's talk about another flavonoid found in lemons called diosmin. Research has found that diosmin has anti-nociceptive effects. That's a medical way of saying it may help reduce nerve pain and symptoms connected to neuropathy, including burning sensations, numbness, tingling, and the sharp shooting pains many patients feel in their feet and legs. But I want to make something very clear. I'm not saying that eating lemons every day will magically remove all nerve pain overnight. That's not realistic, and I would never promise something like that. What these compounds seem to do instead is gradually reduce inflammation within the nervous system. Over time, discomfort and pain may begin to lessen, but this usually happens slowly and works best alongside other healthy lifestyle habits. What's especially interesting is that studies suggest diosmin becomes even more effective when paired with hesperidin, which naturally happens when you consume whole lemons. These compounds appear to work together in a synergistic way, meaning they perform better as a team than they do individually. Now, the final flavonoid I want to discuss today, and one of the most important, is called eriositrin. Lemons contain higher amounts of this phytonutrient than any other citrus fruit. It has very strong antioxidant activity and has also been linked to lower lipid levels, anti-tumor effects, and strong anti-inflammatory activity. Research suggests that eriositrin may lower oxidative stress and inflammatory reactions in both the brain and peripheral nerves. Like several of the other flavonoids we discussed, this compound can cross the blood-brain barrier. That means it may help protect against neurodegenerative conditions such as Alzheimer's disease, dementia, Parkinson's disease, and multiple sclerosis, while also supporting peripheral nerve function. I once had a patient named Robert who was 72 years old and experiencing early cognitive decline, along with neuropathy in his feet. After adding lemons to his daily routine, along with several other lifestyle changes I recommended, he began noticing improvements not only in the feeling in his feet, but also in his mental sharpness over roughly 6 months. Now, I can't say lemons alone caused all those improvements, but they were definitely one part of his larger health plan. Clinical studies have also found that eriositrin is highly effective at reducing oxidative stress connected to diabetes, which is one of the leading causes of peripheral neuropathy. Research also suggests that it plays an important role in lowering long-term oxidative stress caused by food chemicals and environmental toxins, while offering strong neuroprotective effects for both the brain and peripheral nerves. Remember Patricia, the patient I mentioned earlier who had been struggling with peripheral neuropathy for 5 years. After learning about this research, she agreed to start adding lemons into her daily routine. At first, she was doubtful, but she was also willing to try anything that might help. I shared a few simple recipes with her, which I'll show you shortly, and she stuck with them consistently. About 3 months later, Patricia returned for a follow-up visit and told me something that genuinely moved me. She said the burning feeling in her feet had decreased noticeably. It hadn't disappeared entirely, but it had become much easier to handle. She was finally getting better sleep because the pain at night wasn't waking her up nearly as often, and for the first time in years, she felt optimistic because she was seeing real progress instead of only trying to control the symptoms. Now, I want to make something very clear. Patricia's recovery wasn't caused by lemons alone. We also worked on improving her nutrition, balancing her blood sugar, lowering stress, and several other areas. But lemons remained a regular part of her everyday routine, and after looking at all the research I've shared with you, I truly believe they contributed in an important way to her healing process. So now, let's go over how you can use lemons yourself to get these amazing benefits. I'm going to share 3 easy methods that I suggest to my patients, and they're the same methods that my husband and I personally use at home every day. The first method is something I call the lemon shot, and it's the easiest option. Here's what you'll need. 1 fresh lemon that has been cleaned well, along with a citrus press or lemon squeezer. All you do is squeeze the juice from 1 whole lemon and drink it straight on an empty stomach. I know that may sound strong at first, but it's actually only about 2 or 3 tablespoons, and most people adjust to the sour taste pretty quickly. You'll get the best results when you drink it on an empty stomach because your body absorbs those helpful compounds more effectively. That said, adding fresh lemon juice to your water during the day can still provide great benefits. One thing I need to mention here: don't assume bottled lemon juice is equal to fresh lemons. It isn't. Processed lemon juice loses many of the helpful compounds during manufacturing, which means it doesn't provide the same health support we've been discussing. Fresh lemons are what you want if you're looking for the real benefits. The second method is what I call the lemon freeze, and it works really well for people who like preparing things ahead of time. Here's what you'll need: 2 or 3 fresh lemons that have been washed, purified water, a blender or food processor, and silicone ice cube trays. Here's the process. First, cut the whole lemons, including the peel, into small chunks. Next, place them in your blender or food processor with just enough water to blend everything smoothly. Be careful not to pour in too much water, or the mixture will become overly thin. After that, pour the mixture into your ice cube trays and freeze it. This method is great because those frozen lemon cubes can be used in several ways throughout the day. You can drop them into bottled water, you can use them in tea, you can blend them into smoothies, you can even mix them into soups or sauces while cooking. It's an easy and flexible way to use whole lemons without needing to prepare fresh lemons every single day. But the final method I want to share is definitely my favorite, and it's the one my husband and I never skip in the morning. I call it the lemon slush, and we love it because it uses the entire lemon in a larger amount, which helps you get the most from those flavonoids I mentioned earlier. Here's what you'll need: 1 whole fresh lemon that has been washed, half a cup of frozen blueberries, which are optional, though I strongly recommend them because they taste amazing and pair perfectly with lemon, 8 ounces of purified water, and a small amount of liquid monk fruit or stevia for sweetness. Here's how to prepare it. Start by chopping up the whole lemon, peel included, and place it into your blender. Then add the frozen blueberries. Pour in the water and blend everything until smooth. The final result is a refreshing slushy style drink. If it feels too thick, simply add more water. Use monk fruit or stevia to sweeten it however you like. Some people enjoy the tart flavor, while others prefer a sweeter taste. Either option is completely fine. For the strongest effect from those flavonoids, it's best to drink this on an empty stomach. The ideal times are either before bed, at least 2 hours after your final meal, or first thing in the morning. If you choose the morning option, wait at least 1 hour before having breakfast or coffee. This gives your body enough time to absorb those helpful compounds without other foods getting in the way. I also had a patient named Helen, who was 65 years old and struggling with diabetic neuropathy. She began making the lemon slush every morning, and eventually it became something she genuinely enjoyed. At that point, it wasn't only about health anymore. It became part of her daily routine, something calming and positive that helped her begin the day with care and purpose. As time passed, she noticed her energy improving, her nerve discomfort slowly easing, and she simply felt healthier overall. That's what makes habits like this so useful. They're simple, they don't cost much, and lemons are easy to find all year long at almost any grocery store. Over time, it becomes a small daily routine that supports your nervous system in meaningful ways. So, there you have it. We've explored the surprising benefits lemons may offer for nerve health. Who would have thought these bright citrus fruits could help support and protect your nerves in such powerful ways? Whether you're beginning your morning with a lemon slush, adding frozen lemon cubes to your drinks during the day, or taking a bold lemon shot before breakfast, remember that these small habits may give your nervous system real support. And I want you to remember something important. If you're dealing with peripheral neuropathy, nerve discomfort, or you simply want to protect your nervous system as you get older, you are not helpless. There are natural methods supported by research that may truly help. Lemons are only one part of the bigger picture, but they are an important part supported by strong scientific findings. If this information helped you, I'd really appreciate it if you subscribe to my channel. My goal is to share accurate and current information about nerve health and practical ways to improve life after 60. Don't forget to click the bell icon so you'll know whenever I upload new videos. And I'd love to know your thoughts. Are you planning to add lemons to your daily routine? Which method sounds the most appealing to you? Leave a comment below and share your experience. Your story might encourage someone else dealing with nerve problems to take that first step toward feeling better. Until next time, let's continue getting the most out of life, one lemon at a time. Stay healthy, stay strong, and I hope to see you again soon on the path toward better nerve health.